Alright, YouTube. So, you can see my transfer case is leaking again. I opened it up and it's full on oil. I don't know why it's leaking again. Maybe it's too full. Today we're going to change oil on my 2002 Chevy Avalanche. As you can see, it's all wet and dripping oil there. It looks like that oil filter is not tight. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but they said it's the oil pan gasket's leaking. I think it's the oil filter. It's dripping out of there. Somebody didn't tighten it down or just come loose or something. But it has been changed for 2 years. It's a long time, and it has only 2,000 miles on it. I got Mobile One synthetic oil, 5-weight 30. And I got 5 quarts of that. It takes 6 quarts with filter. And I got an oil filter. And if I go over here, that's the oil that I got. And then I'm gonna put a quart of this in there. They said to put that in there to calm the lifters down. So we're gonna do that. And not quite a quart in there, it's half, but we'll put that in there. And then we got this new Wix filter. There's the part number 51522. So we're gonna do that, but I'm not gonna change it right now because Katie wants to change oil on it, and I'm gonna wait and let her do it because she's all happy. She likes to do that. But there is a misfire in the engine, and I'm thinking it's the lifters, but I don't know. I'm not going to mess with the spark plugs because they're probably seized in the engine, and therefore I don't want to break them off in a block and then have some problems. I think the lifters are wore out and it's causing it to run bad and click and whatever. But anyway, we're going to change oil and put Lucas in there, and I think the transmission fluid's going to need to be changed soon, but let's take a look here. I think it was dirty if I last looked. It's still shifting good, but it's you can see it's a little darker. It needs to be changed. It does not smell burnt, so that's a good thing. But we probably should get that changed in the filter and whatever, because these transmissions in here are pretty weak transmissions, I've heard. All right, everyone. I didn't film it because Katie was helping me do it. Changed oil on here. Whoever changed oil here last time had the drain bolt on the oil pan on so hard that I couldn't get it off. We had to kick it off, which is not good. Thank goodness we didn't break it off. And the oil filter, couldn't get that off with any wrench, so I had to take a screwdriver and pound it through and try to get that off. Barely got it off, bent the screwdriver. I don't know who changed oil on here 2 years ago, but they did a terrible job. So what I'm going to do is, I got 1, 2, 3. I got 3 new spark plugs here, but I can't get back to that one with any wrench. These spark plugs here weren't too bad, but the other side one, I think was this one. That's the left bank where it's ticking, and if you look, that's bad. It's very bad. I'm surprised it didn't break off. I'm getting it out of there, but these are NGK AC Delco plugs. I've never ever seen them in my life. And they're supposed to be gapped. It says they're supposed to be gapped 60, and most of them were gapped 65, 70, 80. So they needed to be replaced. I wanted to put the expensive ones in here, and somebody bought it for their white Avalanche today, so I didn't get it, so I had to put cheap ones in there. I had no choice. I spent $60 on oil. I haven't got the rest of the spark plugs out yet. And I'm going to put Lucas oil in there. Put a quart of that in there. And this. 5 quarts of this. 5W30 weight synthetic oil. That's why I got a funnel so I don't spill stuff here. That oil is nice and thick. This thing hasn't been changed forever. And I fired it up after I changed 3 spark plugs, and geez, it started up without even hearing the starter. Before it would hesitate to start. Now it fired right up like nothing. So that's good. You know, that's hopefully some of the problems, but the lifters are probably, it's all clogged up in there. And the reason why I'm getting this thing ready is because this is going to be my only vehicle to drive. That Honda, I'm getting rid of that. I don't want to payment. So I'd rather put money in this thing, I guess. It's just my opinion anyway. Okay, so this is the oil on my truck. Pretty black in it. Look at that. You can tell that needed to be changed. Put your hands in there. Still got a lot of velocity. You can feel it. Still pretty good. It's looks dark, but you can feel that. It's still got good velocity in that oil. It'd be okay. But being for them lifters being noisy as they are, I put that full quart of Lucas in there with 5 quarts of Mobile 1 5 weight 30, and it brought it on full. But I'm sure I'll have to add a little more. That's a 6 quarts with filter. I haven't finished getting the plugs in on that side. I'm going to start it up, check for leaks for the oil first here. Holy. Alright, got good oil pressure and no leaks. Oh, you guys won't be able to see, but I'm trying to get that plug out right there, and to get that boot out, it is a pain in the butt, and I want to break it, and I'm trying to get it out of there, and I always cut myself there. It's hard to get in there and film at the same time. Bastard won't come out. Okay, so I got all plugs in except the back two. That side and that side is so hard to get to. I'll have to look on YouTube and see how people do that. But I'll tell you what, it felt like it had a misfire on this side. I'll tell you what plug was bad. This one right here was bad. I hope the coil pack isn't bad, or the wire. But when I started it up, oh, it runs like a beauty. Starts up, runs like new. New alternator, new belt, and new pulley there. You can't see down there. So the old plugs were supposed to be gapped at, let's see if I can zoom in there, gapped at 60, and the old plug was fouled up here, was gapped at 90, so that wasn't even doing anything. That spark plug was not even helping the engine. That was causing that off balance. I haven't had a chance to see if that straightened it out. I have a feeling it won't, because the lifters are probably getting wore in there, and the valves are probably not opening right, so, you know, it's got high miles. I don't expect it to run new. But I got all them plugs in there, and I tell you, it's made a difference so far, but we'll take it down the road. I got check engine light. I got to check that. I think it's the evap system. Get this thing all ready to go and be fucking mint. Alright guys, so I took the plug out of my Avalanche, and I didn't want to do it. I probably don't want to take any more than I have to, because they're probably going to be breaking off in the head. But this one here, you can see it, but she's wore. Yeah, pretty good. I don't know if that's supposed to be gapped that far or what, but I haven't checked the gap specs on there yet. But you can see that it's been in there for a while. It needs to be replaced. That's probably why she's running terrible. And plugs need to be replaced, but I'm just scared to death to even mess with the plugs or get them out, especially. I suppose the one that's bad is the one you can't really get to. I almost want to have a shop do it. But, you know, they don't look good.